statements are made about me by certain people in the Crazy Mueller Report, in itself written by 18 angry Democrat Trump haters, which are fabricated. Watch out for people that take so-called notes when the notes never existed until needed. Trump claimed that some of the statements made about him in the Mueller report were total bullshit. Credit. Andrew Harry. Trump went on to claim that some of the statements made about him in the Mueller report were total bullshit. Against Trump for obstruction of justice, Mueller should not have so thoroughly detailed the acts that were under examination, such as the president's attempts to remove the special counsel and curtail the probe. The narrative is written as if it's all true and somebody proved it. Nobody proved it, Giuliani said in an interview Friday. I'm frustrated by the report because in some ways I'd love to have a trial and prove that it's not true. Giuliani singled out McGahn, noting that Trump waived executive privilege to allow him to describe episodes to Mueller. Former White House counsel Donald McGahn. Credit. If McGahn thought any of those things were crimes, why did he stay there? Giuliani asked. They're trying to make it out as if there's something illegal about what happened with McGahn. The guy is a very good lawyer. If he believed that there was something illegal, he wouldn't have stayed in his job, according to the account McGahn provided investigators. Trump directed him to call Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who supervised the Russia probe, and tell him to remove Mueller as special counsel. McGahn refused and prepared to resign but was convinced by colleagues to remain as White House counsel. McGahn was unavailable for comment on Friday. One of his friends, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly about the matter, said McGahn was focused on his work at the Jones Day law firm and is trying to lay low, hopeful of avoiding a dispute with Trump. Trump had a tempestuous working relationship with McGahn, who departed the White House last autumn, but a White House official who is friendly with McGahn said the president's fury was driven in part by news coverage and therefore unlikely to last long. Several Trump advisors said they believed McGahn was being unfairly targeted inside the West Wing because of past tensions with Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Loading. If anything, Don saved this presidency from the president, one advisor said, requesting anonymity to speak candidly. If Don had actually gone through with what the president wanted, you would have had a constitutional crisis. The president's ego is hurt, but he's still here. Despite Trump's angry tweets on Friday morning about the Mueller report, the president was in a good mood as he dined on the Mar-a-Lago patio after landing in Palm Beach on Thursday night. On Friday, he played golf with conservative talk radio host Rush Limbaugh, who strongly defended the president on the air on Thursday. My friends, I'm telling you, this report is made to order for the Democrat Party to ignore what is the only important thing about this: no collusion, no obstruction, period, Limbaugh told his listeners. After huddling with his lawyers, including White House attorney Emmett Flood, Trump complained that the second volume of the Mueller report, which focuses on obstruction of justice, is a political document intended to make him look bad, according to a senior White House official. Former Trump campaign advisor Jason Miller argued that the report's revelations are not necessarily vote-determinative issues. Any of this type of West Wing inside baseball drama, or somewhat contrived stories, nobody in the real world actually votes on that. Nobody in the real world is reading all 450 pages of that. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump arrive at Palm Beach to spend the Easter weekend at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Credit. More than a dozen aides provided notes to the special counsel, with notes mentioned in the Mueller report at least 160 times. As evidence for the obstruction of justice inquiry, Mueller relied heavily on notes recorded by McGahn's chief of staff, Ann Donaldson, as well as those taken by former White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter and Sessions Chief of Staff Jody Hunt, according to the report's citations. The report also cited interviews with McGahn, Porter, a former chief of staff Reince Priebus, former chief strategist Stephen Bannon and former communications director Hope Hicks, among others. The report cites an interview with former chief strategist Steve Bannon. Credit: Bloomberg. Once Trump and his lawyers decided to cooperate with the special counsel investigation, many administration officials voluntarily sat for interviews with Mueller's team and shared their emails, notes and other records. Several witnesses said Ty Cobb, a White House lawyer who handled the Russia probe during its first year, instructed them to cooperate with Mueller and they would have told Trump or his lawyers what they were prepared to say or what notes they were going to provide if asked. Now, some of them said they're worried Trump may try to retaliate against them, as the president has in the past when he believes aides cooperated with some book authors. Before becoming president, Trump left the impression with his employees that he did not want them to take too many notes for fear of a paper trail that could haunt him down the road. Sam Lundberg, one of Trump's former political advisors, recalled him saying, "I can't believe what people put in emails. In the White House, many aides take notes, sometimes to memorialize strange moments or orders Trump gave that made them uncomfortable, and sometimes simply to remember one's marching orders or what was agreed to during a meeting." Noting Trump sometimes warily views note-taking in the Oval Office. He rarely takes copious notes himself, aides said, but occasionally scribbles on the side of papers. During a briefing on cybersecurity hacks, for instance, Trump bragged to officials that he never used email and said companies would be better off without using technology that harbors such records. Trump's nervousness over there being a record of his private comments is evident in the requirement that guests at his fundraisers must put their phones in the bags because, as he put it at a recent Texas fundraiser, he sometimes makes problematic comments. Trump is quoted in the Mueller report admonishing McGahn for taking notes. He replied that he kept a record of conversations because he was a real lawyer, yet Trump understands the power of a written record. In another scene from Mueller's report, Trump instructs former campaign manager Corey Lewandowski to write this down, when he asked Lewandowski to help secure the resignation of Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Mueller also reveals that Trump asked Deputy National Security Advisor K.T. McFarlane to draft an internal letter stating that he had not directed National Security Advisor Michael Flynn to discuss sanctions with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. McFarlane declined, according to Mueller's report, because she did not know whether that was true. The Washington Post most viewed in world loading let's block ads. Why?